Most people assume that silence means weakness, uncertainty, or submission. They believe that to be heard is to exist, and to remain quiet is to disappear. The ancient masters understood something far more unsettling. They knew that every unnecessary word drained attention, scattered intent, and exposed the inner state of the speaker. Silence, when chosen deliberately, was not absence, it was control. Long before modern psychology attempted to measure focus and restraint, ancient Chinese philosophers had already identified silence as a discipline. Laozi warned that excessive speech dissolved harmony, while Confucius taught that a cultivated person guarded their words as carefully as their actions. Among warrior traditions and early ninja systems, silence was trained not as secrecy, but as mental containment. To speak less was to remain whole. Chapter 1. The unseen cost of speaking. In the ancient worldview, words were not neutral tools. They were extensions of the mind itself, revealing disorder or discipline with equal clarity. To speak without necessity was to announce internal chaos. To remain silent was to preserve internal structure. In modern life lived a man named Ren. He was competent and observant, yet perpetually restless. In conversations, he explained too much, filled pauses too quickly, and corrected others even when no correction was needed. By the end of each day, he felt drained, not from labor, but from constant expression. Ren believed he was being clear. In truth, he was leaking attention. Chapter 2. An old principle encountered. Late one night, unable to sleep, Ren read a passage attributed to Laozi. Those who know do not speak lightly. Those who speak lightly do not know. The words unsettled him. He had always associated knowledge with articulation, mastery with explanation. This principle suggested the opposite, that understanding reduced the need to speak. Ancient Chinese philosophy treated restraint as refinement. Just as raw metal was useless without tempering, raw speech was considered crude without discipline. Ninja lineages adopted this view strictly. Speech revealed location, intention, and emotion. Silence preserved all three. Ren could not dismiss the thought. For the first time, he considered that his constant speaking might not be strength, but avoidance. Chapter 3. Silence as exposure. When Ren decided to speak less, he did not announce it or frame it as self-improvement. He simply stopped filling space. The first days were deeply uncomfortable. Silence made him aware of nervous habits he had never noticed. Tight shoulders, shallow breath, racing thoughts demanding expression. In ancient training, this discomfort was intentional. Silence was used to surface internal instability. Without words to discharge tension, the mind was forced to confront itself. Warriors and monks alike endured this phase without escape. Ren noticed that many of his words were not responses, but reflexes. Silence revealed this with brutal clarity. Chapter 4. The system of elimination. Ancient discipline favored subtraction over addition. Instead of seeking more techniques, practitioners removed excess. Ren adopted a single rule drawn from this logic. He would only speak if his words served clarity, necessity, or restraint. Everything else would be left unsaid. This was not suppression, it was selection. In conversations, he listened fully before responding. In disagreements, he allowed silence to do the work of exposure. Others often continued speaking, revealing uncertainty, contradiction, or agitation without Ren saying anything at all. Silence became a system, not a mood. Chapter 5. The shift in identity. As days passed, Ren noticed something unexpected. His sense of self began to detach from constant validation. Without explaining himself, he felt less defensive. Without narrating his thoughts, his mind slowed. In ancient Chinese thought, identity was not reinforced through declaration, but through consistency. The warrior was known by conduct, not claims. Silence supported this by removing the impulse to perform. Ren realized that much of his speech had been an attempt to manage how others perceived him. Silence ended that effort. What remained was presence. Chapter 6. Inner strength without display. Ninja philosophy emphasized concealment, not for deception, but for endurance. Energy conserved inwardly lasted longer than energy displayed outwardly. Speech, when unnecessary, was considered a form of waste. Ren observed that silence changed how people responded to him. His words, now fewer, carried weight. When he disagreed, it did not escalate. When he agreed, it felt deliberate. Authority emerged without effort. Ancient masters taught that strength announces itself only when it is uncertain. Silence signaled certainty. Chapter 7. Discipline under pressure. The true test came under stress. When challenged publicly, Ren felt the old impulse to defend and explain. Instead, he paused. He allowed the moment to breathe. Often the challenge dissolved on its own. This restraint mirrored ancient warrior training. Under pressure, the untrained mind rushed forward. The disciplined mind waited. Silence created space for choice. Ren understood then that silence was not withdrawal from conflict. It was mastery within it. Conclusion: the quiet edge. The ancient masters spoke less because they understood the price of excess. Words could expose weakness, distort intent, and scatter focus. Silence preserved all three. In a world that demands constant expression, restraint becomes a form of quiet power. Not the power to dominate, but the power to remain intact. Silence sharpens perception, stabilizes emotion, and strengthens identity without display. The discipline of silence is not about saying nothing. It is about becoming someone who does not need to say everything. When words are chosen carefully, they carry force. When silence is chosen deliberately, it carries authority. And in that restraint, the ancient path remains intact, calm, watchful, and unbroken.